what's up? This is JD Wilson, founder of Lead You. Today we are in Spring Lake, New Jersey, meeting with one of my favorite educators, someone who's been in education for over 25 years, the one and only Mrs. Apruzzese, aka Mrs. A. I won't be calling her by her first name because she was one of my former advisors, and that just feels awkward for me. We're at Pedego Electric Bikes, about to get some ice cream and talk a little bit about education. This is Educators on Bikes Getting Ice Cream. Thank you for coming here. So Mrs. A, I made the announcement earlier, I'm calling you Mrs. A still. Okay, I'm not quite there with you. We're gonna work up to actually calling you by your first name.
Okay, that
maybe
works.
by the end of this episode.
Okay.
So this is an electric bike.
Uh-huh.
The first ever electric bike here at Educators on Bikes Getting Ice Cream. So this is a big deal.
Okay.
Are you okay with electric bikes?
Never been on one.
Oh, good. So this is your first electric bike experience.
Indeed.
Okay,
Do I have to wear a helmet?
You do. That was actually my question too. Yeah, because I was worried about my hair.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we have to wear a helmet, safety
Okay,
first.
okay.
But here's why I got you this bike.
Okay.
Couple things. One, you've been teaching for over 25 years. You've been in education for almost 30 years, right? At this point?
Just about.
Yeah, and you are somebody who is not stuck in your old ways. Like an electric bike, you're an innovator. And I mean that. And you're somebody who's, you look at education and you say, hey, you know what, education's changing, just like an electric bike. What can I do to improve myself, which will help improve my students?
Okay.
And that is what I thought of when we decided to get you the first ever electric bike. Another thing I will say, we were talking to Adam, who you're about to meet in a second, and he told me that this particular model, the Interceptor, is actually their classic.
Okay.
And if there's one thing I can say about you is that you are a classic teacher.
Thank you.
All right, you like that? You see where I, yeah. So this is the Interceptor. We're gonna learn a little bit about how to use this thing so we don't die.
Thanks.
I'm gonna grab Adam now and we'll learn a little bit about it. Sound good?
Right. Sounds good.
All right, awesome.
There you go. The thing that I love the most about all-girl education, I'm a graduate of it,
Right.
and a firm believer in it, is that what we're teaching is that, I always used to like to say that we're about all girls all the time. So those girls never had to defer to anybody else. There were never any stereotypes. There were never any expectations. The only expectation was that they had to do it, because if they didn't do it, no one else would.
What's up, man? I'm JD. Patrick, good to meet you. What's up? This is Mrs. A.
Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Yes, I'm sticking with Mrs. A for now.
That's okay.
All right, man. So what's going on? There's a lot going on here, huh? Vanilla chocolate
Yeah.
chip. That's kind of like what you.
Yeah, that's my go-to. You need the crunch.
There's a lot of options right here. I have like a peanut butter habit.
Moose Truck sounded good. It's vanilla with fudge and mini peanut butter cups.
Moose tracks. Okay. What would you like? You can go
Just
first.
a small cup of vanilla chocolate chip.
All right.
Please.
Get that wrong. Yours.
Whoa, that's a small?
That's. Oh my. Well, we got a good workout.
Okay.
So that's the positive. All right, cool. Hold on, let me get one bite before we get going. It is so good, guys. This ice cream, so good. Honestly.
I started in Catholic school, in preschool, 3 and 4,
Okay.
and then eventually moved to first grade.
Preschool.
Yeah.
Preschool scares me.
No, preschool should never scare you.
We've done preschool assemblies before,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
so.
Preschoolers are like sponges. They
Okay.
absorb absolutely everything that you say and do. They hang on every word.
Well, they literally hang on you, too.
Yeah,
That's-
that too. But I had a very special connection with pre-K 4. I
Okay.
really love that age. Although there are leaders in preschool.
I can't handle it. What is a leader in preschool?
Okay,
Is
well-
the one who's not hanging on me?
No. This is a funny story,
What do you
but
got?
when I was teaching preschool 4, we decided to put on the nativity show
Okay.
for Christmas, and 3 girls were clamoring to play the role of Mary.
Right.
So even then, they knew that Mary was the lead, and they wanted that part. So leadership starts young.
Leadership starts young,
Yep.
even in pre-K.
Thanks.
What have you done and how have you seen what's happening in the world also apply to what's happening in that building? Is it
Well,
as far as women being leaders and showing that they are leaders?
Yeah, I think the thing about St. Dominic's and any all-girls school really is that girls, we never taught a class that was like Empowerment 101. It was just in our, almost like in the water, so to speak, in the air. It was just something that was. And the girls immediately just became part of that empowered community.
Yeah.
And you know, you would start to give direction, or you would start to say something, and they would finish your sentences because it was just the way it was. And there was no one else there to do it. It was the girls' games that they went to at the end of every day. It was the girl who was the president of the student council, the lead in the show, the person who came up with the idea, the person who started the project. That's what it was. And you learned then that you never really have to defer to anybody else. When our girls would leave and go off to college, they were never at a loss for how to do something or that they could do it. You know, they would sit in lecture halls and raise their hands, and other people would say, "Oh, what are you doing?" And it was like, well, they didn't know how not to raise their hand or answer a question or ask a question, because that's just what all-girl education is all about. Wow. You know, it's about, you have to learn to lead, because if you don't, look around, who else is going to do it?
Exactly.
So that's really what it comes down to. And I loved my time there as a student. I loved my time there as an administrator, because it's an amazing thing to watch these girls grow.
Yeah. More importantly, you mentioned you were a Girl Scout. You worked with Girl Scouts?
Yeah, the Girl Scout leader for 13 years.
All right, I think what everyone's waiting to hear is, what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie? And why?
Probably Samoas.
Samoas?
I don't eat them because they're probably really bad for you, but I do love them. I love that combination, and it reminds me of a cookie from way back when I was a child. I don't know the name of it. I don't know the company who made it, but that Samoa is that cookie. But in reality, we're Thin Mint buyers.
Thin Mints. Thin Mint. Did you think I was going to do a high five? Because I was not going to do a high five with you. No, I think this is my thing about Thin Mints. You're either in or you're out. I'm out of Thin Mints. It's not, my sisters love Thin Mints. Tag-alongs. Okay. Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Goes to tag-alongs all day.
Peanut butter's good in a sandwich. Can't eat a peanut butter cookie. Isn't that funny? Or peanut butter ice cream.
Really?
Yeah.
She inspired me as a student. She inspires me now. I could really talk to Mrs. A all day. Till next time, this is Educators on Bikes, getting ice cream. Well, hey, cheers, Mrs. A. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And Andrea. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Thank you. Thanks for the ice cream.
All right, cheers.